We're all deeply saddened by this loss.
More than 6 months ago, WIS reported the story of Jaime Contreras. Contreras was a staff sergeant who served 12 years in the United States Army. He was stationed at Fort Liberty in Fayetteville, North Carolina, but was at Fort Jackson for Drill Sergeant Academy training.
Contreras was reported missing around 1 p.m. on June 12th of last year. His body was later discovered around midnight near a training course on Fort Jackson.
We have been waiting for results of the autopsy. The family decided to sit down with WIS after sharing the autopsy report.
Chief Investigative Reporter Derek Rush joins us. So Derek, what's the breakdown from this autopsy and what did the family have to say?
Well, you know, Judy, Greg, this is a very detailed situation. In an autopsy report, the Defense Health Agency lists Contreras' cause of death as cardiac stress in the setting of a training environment. Now, I spoke with the family who says they want more answers on what happened during that training exercise.
I don't think I can even talk. He was wonderful. He's precious. I always refer to him as my precious son, my precious daughter.
A mother heartbroken along with her daughter.
He was just always happy, I think. I've never really ever saw him angry.
All night and morning, I kept calling. I would call any number I could find. Sometimes I would get an answer. A lot of times I wouldn't. And I just kept calling until about 6 o'clock in the morning when in Arizona, my doorbell rings. And it's 2 military people. And they asked to come in and they get their clipboard and they said, on behalf of the United States Army, we wish to extend our condolences. And I couldn't. And I just cried and cried.
It's been more than 6 months since Thelma Gomez and Loriselda Stellar, the mother and sister of deceased Army drill sergeant candidate at Fort Jackson, Jaime Contreras, received the heart-wrenching news of his passing. But the family still has questions.
Early on, the medical examiner called, and this is something I will never forget. He says, "Your son's death is a mystery to me." And I'm thinking, you're the medical examiner. Why is my son's death a mystery to you?
An autopsy from the Defense Health Agency lists Contreras' cause of death as cardiac stress in the setting of a training environment. On June 12th of 2023, Jaime Contreras was completing week 8 of Drill Sergeant Academy training here at Fort Jackson. This specific day was going to be land navigation training, where you navigate to specific coordinates given by command on Fort Jackson and return by 1 p.m.
When Staff Sergeant Contreras did not return within the allocated time, drill sergeant leaders immediately notified the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy Commandant and Fort Jackson Emergency Services. A search immediately commenced.
I reached out to Fort Jackson to ask the specific timing, the sequence of events, when the search began, and if there was any delay. This was the base's response, reiterating the statements made by Brigadier General Kelly. Fort Jackson says Contreras was not located until 11:20 p.m. that night, just off the land navigation course. That's more than 10 hours after he went missing.
He was not very far outside of the boundaries of the course, probably 50 meters.
At that point, Contreras was already dead. The family says they don't understand why it took so long to locate him when he was so close to the navigation course.
I love him. I love him. And it's because of that love that I'm doing this, that I'm focused on asking questions, on wanting to know what happened.
For more context, the Army requires candidates meet physical fitness standards and pass all events of the Army Combat Fitness Test to complete basic training. Outside of that, requirements are contingent upon a soldier's specific job description. Now, even though Contreras' death was listed as cardiac stress due to the training environment, the base says Contreras would have had to meet Drill Sergeant Academy fitness requirements before being accepted into the academy. Now, guys, as we know, we have spoken several times to the family since this interview, and they say in so many words, they're just still raising a lot of questions in their own minds. So we're going to continue to find out more information as we continue to get a lot of the reports and requests that we have put into Fort Jackson, but just an ongoing investigation here for sure.
Well, certainly hope they get some of the answers that they so desperately need to bring about some healing and just some peace to have a better understanding of exactly what happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah, heartbreaking situation for that family.
It is indeed. Derek, thank you for your good work. Appreciate it. Our WIS Investigates team is committed to asking questions and getting answers. If you have a story that you believe should be investigated, contact our Investigates team at the number on our website at WISTV.com. You can also reach out to Derek through social media.